So, good evening everyone. I am Rose Andrea Gaon, and now we are going to talk and discuss about ecological literacy. So, in the past lesson, we learned about how to act and stand as a literate person. So, we tackled about how to be a literate person, such as financial literate and social literate, and etc. And now we will jump on to chapter 6 of this module, which is we will discuss about ecological literacy and how we will be an ecoliterate person. So before we go to read our objectives, so let me read first the quotation in this ecological literacy. So the development of ecological understanding is not simple another subject to be learned, but a fundamental change in the way we see the world. So by John Lyle, 1994. So what is ecological literacy? So ecological literacy is also known as ecoliteracy, the ability to understand the natural system that make life on Earth possible. It involves understanding the principle of organization of ecological communities and using this principle for creating sustainable human communities. And ayon kay Mina and Allison of 2009, ecological literacy refers to an individual understanding not only of ecological concept but also of his or on her place in the ecosystem. And sinasabi dito na ano nga ba ang responsibilidad natin at tungkulin natin bilang isang tao sa kalikasan? Gaano nga ba kataas yung posibilidad na pangalagaan natin ito? And ano ba yung maitutulong natin? And magagawa natin para maituring tayo bilang isang ecoliterate person? So, ecological literacy, hindi lang yung alam natin kung ano yung mga responsibilidad at tungkulin na dapat natin gawin sa ecosystem. And of course, bilang isang ecoliterate person, dapat alam natin yung pwesto natin at tungkulin natin sa kalikasan. And also, the term ecological literacy, tandaan po natin, was first introduced by David Orr in 1989 in his essay Ecological Literacy. So, he is indicated that knowing, caring, and practical competence form the foundation for ecological literacy. So, tapos na tayong define what is ecological literacy is. And now, let's proceed to characterizing an ecoliterate person. So, paano nga ba maging isang ecoliterate person? So, ayon kay Dr. Tung Puk, 2002, at Lakehead University characterized an ecologically literate person at the 21st century as the responsible, lifelong learner who strives to improve the human condition and the environment within the context of self, human group, the biosphere, and the ecosphere. So, the ecologically literate person, in order to achieve the aforementioned ultimate goal, you should become. So, may iba't ibang uri para maituring na isa tayong ecoliterate person. So, first is the inquirer, who actively secure the basic skill and knowledge in order to carry out ecological responsibilities. This enables her to reach her own potential and place in the physical and natural environment. So, when it comes to ecological responsibilities, para sa mga responsibilidad natin, so meron tayong sapat na basic skill and knowledge para mapangalagaan natin ang kalikasan. This is the inquirer. So, we have a basic skill and knowledge in order to carry out our ecological responsibilities. And now, let's proceed to reflective learner. So, ano naman ang reflective learner? Who understand the value and limitation of human knowledge, the power and limitation of the natural world, the role of intuition and real-life pursuit, and role of self as it manifested in one personal narrative. So, dito naman, dapat alam natin kung ano yung mga limitasyon natin tungkol sa kalikasan. So, alam natin yung responsibilidad, alam natin yung bawal, at alam natin yung dapat nating gawin. Next is intelligently self-directed. So, who engage in self-appraisal, set new learning objectives, develop plan to achieve those objectives, carries out those plans in a flexible and directed manner, and reflects on the whole process. So let's proceed to morally responsible. So when we say morally, syempre, alam na natin yan, who governs action with perceived responsibility, seeking justice and equality for all that maintain harmonious relationship. So next is seek self-transcendence. So who moves beyond the limitation of personal ego by identifying with human group, past and future, flora and fauna, ecosphere that transcend individual life in scope and time. And also, last but not the least, is ecologically responsible, who embodies ecological ideals in daily life. So now let's proceed on environmental literacy, ecological literacy, and eco-literacy. So frameworks for eco-literacy exhibit a high degree of similarity with frameworks for environmental literacy. In that both set include similar affective knowledge, cognitive skills, and behavioral components. So, kapag sinabi natin environmental literacy, ang general conception of environment niya is yung problem field of values. So, ano-ano yung mga nade-develop sa kanya? So, they develop problem-solving skill from diagnostic to action. Develop a system of ethics. Adopt environmentally responsible behavior. So, ano yung mga approaches niya? So, cognitive, pragmatic, affective, and moral. So, ano yung mga example ng strategies niya? Case study, issue analysis, and problem-solving project. Paano naman kapag sinabi natin ecological literacy? So, ano yung general conception of environment niya? So, object of study system. Ano-ano yung mga dominant educational objectives niya? Acquire knowledge of ecological concept and principle, develop skill related to the scientific method, observation, and experimentation. So, ano-ano mo yung approaches niya? Pwedeng cognitive and experiential. Ano-ano yung mga example of strategies niya? Pwedeng observation, demonstration, and etc. So, how about eco-literacy? So, ang ano niya is shared resource for sustainable living gaya. They promote and contribute to economic development that addresses social equity and ecological sustainability. Develop the many dimensions of one being interaction with all aspects of all environment. And also, develop an organic understanding of the world in participatory action and with the environment. Ano yung mga um, ano-ano yung kanyang mga tawag dito. So, ano naman yung mga approaches niya? Pwedeng cognitive, pragmatic, holistic, creative. So, ano-ano yung mga example? Pwedeng case study, social marketing, sustainable consumption activities, sustainable living management project, immersion, visualization, creative workshop. Industry, environmental literacy, ecological literacy, and eco-literacy. So, halos kung mapapansin natin is pare-parehas lang yung kanyang educational objectives because lahat sila nagde-develop ng problem solving skill, lahat sila tuturuan tayo on how to be a eco-literate person. And now let's proceed to learning initiative, although challenging and demanding, yields significant benefits in the long run. So, increase awareness of environmental degradation and concern for its rehabilitation have prompted colleges and universities to green their campuses. So, a green campus is a place where environmental responsible practice and education go hand in hand and where environmental responsible tenets are boom out by example new PCCND. So the Green Campus Institution is a model environmental community where operational function, businesses practice, academic program, and people are interlinked, providing educational and practical value to the institution, the region, and the world. And ito daw yung mga benefits na maibibigay sa atin. So, environmental and economic sustainability. So, a system-wide culture of sustainability helps preserve and enhance what the institution values today as well as for the future. So, reputation as a leader through example, as colleges and university offers courses in a environmental management, engineering, law and regulation, and assessment, greening initiative provide them opportunities and to practice what they preach and make their mark as environmental leader. So next is economic benefits, with a routine curriculum-based environmental audit program that reveal waste and efficiency associated with campus activities, coupled with the identification of environment-friendly alternatives, you can yield significant cost saving for institution. Next is real-life work experience for your student. So this experience not only makes your student more marketable, it also provides them with a kind of broad thinking skills that allow them to succeed and thrive once they are employed. And next is improved quality of life in the campus. So a green campus is a cleaner, safer, and healthier place to live and work. So ecological literacy is a form of transformative education that requires shift in three related areas. So perception, which is seeing, second is conception, which is knowing, and third is action, which is doing. So in ecological literacy, itong tatlong to is a base para mas maging epektibo yung pagtuturo natin tungkol sa ecological literacy. So, first is perception. So, first is perception. Dapat ipakita natin sa mga bata at ituro natin ano nga ba yung responsibilidad at tungkulin natin sa kalikasan. Number 2 is conception. So, wag lang tayo puro tingnan or yung mga pinapakita sa atin. Siyempre, kailangan din nating alamin at pag-aralan yung iba't ibang uri ng responsibilidad at tungkulin natin patungkol sa kalikasan. And syempre, hindi mawawala yung action. So, yun yung pinakang importante. Kapag nakita natin at kapag nalaman natin, kailangan gumalaw pa tayo para maituring natin yung sarili natin as eco-literate person. So, ecological literacy is a form of transformative education that requires shift in three related areas. So, first, perception, which is seeing. Second is conception, which is knowing. Third is action, which is doing. In school, teachers are also required to shift emphasis through the following. So first is from parts to whole. So subjects are to be taught as integrated, not as isolated units in the curriculum. So number 2 is from object to relationship. An ecosystem is a community. So community are characterized by set networks and relationship. So number 3 is from quantity to quality. So assessment have traditionally emphasized standardized testing in terms of quantities, numeric score, and measurement. So number 4 is from structure to process, which is system are dynamic and evolving. So thus the understanding of living structure and link with understanding renewal, change, and transformation. And number 5 is from content to pattern. So when we draw maps of relationship, we discover certain configuration of relationship that appear again and again. And that's all for today's discussion. Thank you for listening.